Trouble it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Welcome back to the Laura Ingraham Show, your healthy radio addiction. I'm Paul Viollis, and I've been sitting in for Laura today. As I mentioned earlier in the program and shortly before we took a break, we're going to be talking about a story right now that really needs a lot more attention, frankly, than it's getting, my opinion. But we've got Randy Brandt joining us, spokesperson for the family of Tony Kim. Randy, you with me?
Yeah, Paul, thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
No, listen, it's great to have you on. And one of the best parts about Laura's show is understanding that she's always looking for great subjects like this. And this is a story that needs to be told. And frankly, this is a story that needs to be told with greater volume than it is right now. Tell us right now, for those that don't know, give us the backstory on Tony Kim.
Yeah, Tony Kim was one of 3 Americans who's been detained in North Korea. He was basically held on April 22nd of 2017 last year. So it's been a little over 9 months that he's been held. He had been teaching at a university there called Pyongyang University of Science and Technology, teaching business accounting kind of class. And he had been there several times before doing that, with the permission of the university and the government there. But he was held at the airport on April 22nd. And basically, the family's been working behind the scenes for a number of months, but decided really this week to become more public to try and get the word out, as you just said. And as you know, Paul, there's 2 other Americans that have been detained in North Korea as well. So we're really trying to get the word out through a campaign, which is basically hashtag USA3, as we approach, the first day of the Olympics today. There's, a lot to be said about what's going on in the peninsula there, but we really want to bring more attention to the Americans that are being held there, including Tony.
What,
and
Randy?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we can no, nothing to be sorry about. So we can drill down on this because a lot of people, and I can just see from social media, people with the questions. A lot of people are having a hard time understanding why is Tony Kim incarcerated. We don't understand that.
Yeah, well,
what has he done wrong?
The bottom line is we don't think he's done anything wrong, but we don't know anything because North Korea hasn't shared anything. So we haven't heard. The family hasn't heard anything at all for more than 7 months. As you know, tragically, in June of last year, the Warmbier was released in a coma, and that was the last time there was any direct contact, official contact with the other 3 Americans. So the answer is we don't know. They haven't been, Tony's case, he hasn't been charged with anything that we're aware of, hasn't been tried with anything we're aware of. So the bottom line is, unfortunately, he's being held, and the family misses their dad and their husband, etc.
All right, well, Randy, let's call it what he's being held. If you can't leave, you're incarcerated.
Yeah, well, none of us would want to be in that situation.
No,
it's obviously very, very hard for the family. And,
did he enter? Did he enter North Korea illegally?
No.
So he was there legally.
Legally, with the permission of both the university where he was teaching, as well as the North Korean government. So that unfortunately is the case, and we think it's really important to get the word out that Tony and the other 3 Americans are there, as we focus on all the other dynamics that are going on. We really want, basically, as Americans, we want to cheer the American athletes. We're really excited about the Olympics, but we also want to highlight that only miles away, there are 3 Americans, including Tony, that are being held. And, in terms of social, media efforts, we are active on Facebook. We just put up a Facebook site 2 days ago. Tony's oldest son, Saul Kim, did a video, which is just under 2 minutes. Really want to encourage your listeners to take a look at that. It's available at
on
Free
YouTube?
USA 3.
Is that up on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, Free USA, the number 3. And it's also on Facebook if folks are on Facebook or other social media outlets. We really are thankful for, we had more than 50,000 views just in the last, 48 hours. as well as on Twitter. We've had folks as wide-ranging as Greta Van Susteren and Reverend Franklin Graham and members of Congress, to tweet out. So It's really great to get the word out, and the family really appreciates the effort of those who have been helping already, and we just wanted to be public now about the need for continued efforts to get them freed through a humanitarian release.
All right, so Randy, let me jump in here, okay? Because I think the most important thing for people to understand is the big picture here, and sometimes I think that gets lost. And the big picture is Tony went, and correct me if there's anything that I say that's inaccurate, but Tony went to North Korea to help orphanages in the country's northeast section of the country, right? Is that correct?
He's been there several times, and he's taught. He's a faculty member.
And he's a faculty member where?
At Pyongyang University of Science and Technology, which is a private university, the only one that I'm aware of in North Korea. So but he's also a humanitarian, and he's been out helping people. And I think that, Paul, that raises a great point, which is, Tony Kim is one of those brave bridge builders, basically, in a place where many people wouldn't want to go. For me, that's part of what makes American great, is that there are many Americans around the world trying to help in difficult places, and Tony is one of them.
And that's my point. And that's my point, Randy. And again, so I want to kind of lay this out for our listeners here. We marker board this thing so everybody can understand what this looks like. You've got Tony Kim, who is a professor at the university, who's been to North Korea on numerous occasions. So he's there legally. He's there as as an instructor, an improved, someone to improve the level of intellect in that environment. He's there as a humanitarian, and he's taking time away from his teaching to help children in orphanages. And in May of 2017, he's accused of committing criminal acts of hostility aimed to overturn the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Now, if all of you are sitting there listening to this and you are scratching a hole in your head like I am right now, then it's with great cause and justification, because how do you get a guy, and this is a story that we should be, this is what we need to be. If we haven't been, we need to ask this question to North Korea. How do we go from professor and humanitarian to creating criminal acts of hostility? I mean, has anyone asked that question, Randy, and has anyone given you an answer?
Well, Paul, I think the hard situation is, getting answers, and that's why we really want to get the word out. I think your point is well taken. One of the ways, that the family has chosen to do that is through this 2-minute video that Saul Kim, Tony's oldest son, put out just a couple of days ago. I really encourage your listeners to take a look at it and share it. And inside it, one of the things that just on the personal level, the challenges is for the families, as you can imagine, is they don't have any information, and that's very hard. As well as one of the things that was shared in the video by Saul was that his brother and sister-in-law are about to have a baby, which is very exciting for the family, but they don't have any reason to believe that their father would know that.
Okay,
so there's a lot of difficulty and challenge for the family, but they are really humble and courageous folks, from my perspective, represent the best of America. And I think part of our, privilege is to kind of stand up for folks around the world who are doing good things like that.
Right. Now, Randy, let me ask you something. So, and I'm with you on that. And so if somebody, you said we need support, what are you asking people to do to show their support before we take a break here?
Yeah, great question. If they're on social media, they can tweet #USA3. If they're on Facebook, Free USA3 is the site on Facebook that they can share. We're also asking them to contact their members of Congress and senators and House members to encourage them to work with the administration on a humanitarian release.
Okay.
And finally, as a symbolically, for those who are at the Olympics or watching the Olympics and want to share it on social media, we're encouraging folks to raise 3 fingers in solidarity with the 3 Americans who are there.
All right. Well, you just heard it. Randy, I hope everybody follows that. I know we certainly will here. We really appreciate you coming on. Our thoughts and prayers will stay with you. And God willing, Tony and the other 2 Americans will return home expeditiously and, most importantly, as well, safely. So, Randy, thanks very much.
Paul, thanks so much. And the family thanks you, and thanks to everyone who's helping and for their prayers as well.
Laura's a big supporter, and as is everybody here at the Laura Ingraham Show. So we really, again, many thanks, Randy. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. We're going to tie up the show for today. Some closing thoughts. So stay with me.
The Laura Ingraham Show.